Are you being controlled without you knowing? Hey guys, I'm Showman. I want to change the way you think, and today I want to do a very tough episode. If you listen to this video, this is going to be hard. It's not gonna be some soft, cushy truth. It's going to be the hard, cutting edge. Yes, you are being controlled and you don't even know it, and you are resisting so hard right now. But if you just and you just let this video roll on, let me explain what I mean. You are being controlled because you are in what's called a pain-pleasure paradigm, and that means you are being controlled by pain and pleasure. Now, you're probably saying, Shoma, we're all being controlled by pain and pleasure. Humans basically go towards pleasure and go away from pain, and there's a little nuance in that, but like that's pretty much what we do. That is true, but the form of pleasure that we experience is the key here. The pain-pleasure paradigm basically means that you are, on a moment-by-moment basis, solely going towards pleasure and solely going away from pain. Now, this is probably gonna be a hard one for you to digest because you're not gonna want to see this in action. But if you actually look at your life right now, what have you done in the last 24 hours that wasn't directly moving towards whatever was the most pleasure and directly moving away from whatever caused the most pain? Other than perhaps going to your job, but even during your job, you're always trying to seek as much pleasure as you possibly can. Now, I have no problem with this form of pleasure. What I do kind of have a problem with, and what I think you'll find, is that going for this short-term, immediate, moment-by-moment pleasure is not potentially, and you might disagree with me on that one, and feel free to let me know in the comments down below if you do disagree, but it might not be the best way to live, only because you're not gonna be ultimately all that happy in the long run. Because if you don't get your moment by moment fix, you basically aren't happy. Now, you could blame, Snickers and McDonald's and all that for what they're doing, for, making you fat and making you lazy and making you just seek pleasure. And, you can blame it all on that, or you can kind of do the slightly harder thing and you can say, am I actually being controlled moment by moment, like literally moment by pain? Like, if you've made it this far, you're doing great, because this very likely, unless you already agree with me, is a very painful thing to hear, and you are doing great, and you're already wanting to click away. Like, that is how much you're being controlled. Like, if you think you need to click away right now, that is precisely the reason why you need to continue to watch this video, because you're so in this pain, pleasure, that you can't even watch a video that supposedly is there to bring you the truth. Now, if you're saying, I'm complete BS, like, this is not the truth, is that right? Maybe. I could be wrong, let me know in the comments down below, but let's actually, for the sake of argument, assume that I am right and that you are actually being controlled moment by moment by going towards pleasure, whatever the most immediate form of pleasure is, and moving away from pain. How is this actually hurting you? You're having a great life. You're doing these wonderful things. You're eating all of these lovely foods. You're, doing the dirty. You're doing all of these fun things. What's so wrong with that? Tell me, what's so wrong with that? Well, that is a very good criticism. And let me tell you what is potentially wrong with that. And that ultimately boils down to, on your deathbed, what are you gonna remember more? Are you gonna remember eating that Snickers bar on a Thursday afternoon? Or are you gonna remember doing something potentially harder that earns you a lot more joy in the latter time? Right now, you're living in this shallow form of pleasure. You're living in these lower moment-by-moment bits of pleasure rather than this sustainable, true, deep, inner happiness that ultimately will come about from doing hard things. From doing the things that you potentially don't want to do, that are hard, that will make you uncomfortable. Those are the things that when you look back, you can have sustained happiness. And trust me, guys, it really is like that. I was so enamored by, eating chocolate whenever I felt bad, eating something sweet, doing something fun every time I was down. But ultimately, as soon as it wore off, I was miserable. But as soon as I started doing hard things that pushed me forward ahead in life, when I looked back, and even while I was doing those things, I could, in essence, look back and feel so much joy because I'm moving ahead, because I'm doing hard things, because I'm challenging myself and I'm growing. I'm able to be so much happier in the long run than had I just laid back, watched Netflix, had some chocolate, had some cake, had some potato chips, and, just go with the flow. Now, you might not agree with me, and that is perfectly fine. That might not ultimately bring you the most amount of happiness. I can almost guarantee you, I'm willing to bet that if you actually follow this, it will. But for the sake of argument, you're, a big person. You can feel free to do whatever you want. This is just one perspective. This is one way of viewing the world. I think it's right, but you can always disagree. So then, how do we actually get over this pain-pleasure paradigm, assuming I'm correct? Well, the easiest way is for you to start monitoring yourself. Monitor each action one at a time for a week and see, is this just momentarily making me happy? Or is this action actually moving towards me something that I truly want, that would truly make me happy, that would bring inner joy rather than this quick fix, this quick potato chip, this quick, escapist Netflix? Now, there's nothing wrong with escapisms. Do them to your heart's content. And honestly, I do my fair share of it. But mixed in with those escapisms, maybe try doing something hard. Maybe challenge yourself. Do something that makes you uncomfortable. That is why I have do uncomfortable things every day written on my board, is because that is how I ultimately will make myself happy. So monitor yourself every day, all of your actions. Is this just a momentary fix? Is this a long-term thing? And I would say pick the long-term thing, even if it's uncomfortable right now. These are the moments that will make you happy in the long term. These are the moments that will make you proud of who you are. Because ultimately, 20 years in the future, will it matter that you watch another season of The Office, or that you got off your butt and you started something, and that something now turned into something big, and something wonderful, and something great? And ultimately something that you can hold in your hand, or I guess in your head, and say, yes, I did this thing. So, what do you guys think? Am I full of BS? Is this something that you guys think is controlling you? And more importantly, is something that you don't want it controlling you? Are you gonna take some action? Let me know in the comments down below. Type, yes, I will, if and only if you're actually willing to take action on making your life better and on making you, frankly, more happier and, more importantly, less controlled by society. And if you've made it this far, please hit that subscribe button. I'm almost at my stride. Now is the time to get in on the ground floor of this channel so that we can grow together, because together we can do so much more than either one of us can do alone. So with that, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this and you think that this is a worthwhile thing for you to be doing with your life. Again, thank you, and I will see you tomorrow.